you just lost $20,000 every year. And if you wait 5 years, that's $100,000. Are you going to be able to make up $100,000 to be able to bring to the table? That's what I want to help people understand. Hey guys, Duane Richins, door-to-door realtor. I got Kurt, one of our coaching clients on here. He's on our EXP team as well. Killer agent down in St. George, Utah, living the good life. We're going to go through some role plays that he has done, actually out with live clients, knocking doors, and kind of critique through some of this stuff. So hang tight as we go through this. It's going to be a fun ride, and love to help you guys understand the whys behind the question-based selling as we go through and diagnose some of these door approaches. So comment below any questions you have as you see a lot of this as we go through it. If you don't understand something, stop, send a comment, call me. You guys have my number, 801-243-4544. Let us know, let us help you make sure you understand this. So here we go. This is yesterday's door knock. He's talking to a gentleman here that is a renter. Is that right, Kurt?
No, he was an owner.
He's an owner. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so you guys must have a killer payment on this place if you got it that long ago.
No, this has me.
Okay, so yeah, zero. So you would just rent it out and then just cash flow whatever.
I feel like we're kind of that generation that kind of just barely got enough to buy a house. It's like it's just got too expensive in St. George. And it's like,
yeah.
It's almost like if you're a laborer, you're never really gonna own a home unless you get paid super well.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It's usually the Californians or the retired people who have the money just outright, or a lot of it, or people in business, I guess. But yeah, things have changed so much. It's weird.
Yeah. So you, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Cisco.
Cisco?
Yeah.
I'm Kurt. Nice to meet you. So it sounds like you've been here a while, but you said you had thought about just holding on to this and then buying another place?
Yeah, it's kind of just, like I said, just general talking. We haven't taken anything serious yet. We're just kind of like, well, should we even start doing that? Or no, just kind of forget about it for a while and kind of bring it back to the table again at some point.
Yeah.
So as we start through this, as we're looking through what Kurt's doing here, he asks their name. That's something I never do on a door. And the reason I don't is I'm not there to become their friend. Oftentimes you say, oh, I'm Francisco. Oh, I'm Kurt. I'm Duane. And we shake hands. It's like, oh, great. It's like the immediate turn, it goes to more of a friend type of relationship. I want it to stay business every time, okay? And so make sure you don't cross the friend barrier. Even I heard Kurt earlier on in his conversation say, oh, I bet you've got a killer payment. Essentially, by saying you've got a killer payment, Kurt, you're saying, why would you move? You got a killer payment. Don't ever encourage or strengthen a statement for them to stay. Because in reality, you guys, we're not trying to do what's not good for our clients. What we're trying to do is what's best for our clients. And if they're thinking about making a move, they've got to make the move now while they can still afford it, because prices are going to continue to rise in every market. So that being said, always help them understand how to make that next move. So at this point, a client here is saying, yeah, we've thought about it. Kurt, let's see where you take this.
So is that something you think you'll do at some point, or is this more of the forever home here?
I don't know. It's just...
Okay, Kurt, what's a better question you could ask right there? Is that something you're going to do at some point, or is this your forever home? Notice that's a double question.
When do you think you would do it?
How about what's your time frame?
That's obviously where I was going. I was trying to get the time frame, but I didn't ask. Needed to wordsmith that a little better.
Okay, short, pointed questions is what we're looking for. Yes, that's what you're going for, but you ask a double question, so it's like, okay, which question do I answer here? Where do I go? Make sure it's a short, pointed question when you guys approach your clients.
I would like that one, that's for sure. Just something a little bit bigger, not something massive, but like something maybe, because this one's like 1,400 square feet.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
This is one of the smaller models.
So is he explaining time frame? Why?
Because the question was bad.
Correct. So he's going into what he wants. That doesn't help you. You don't care what he wants because he doesn't know that he's ready to buy today. You've got to help him buy today. That's our big objective, Kurt, when we're on doors, is you've got to help them come to the conclusion that they're going to buy today with you, because the information you brought them and the way you asked the questions to help them know that today is the day they need to buy a house. Not, oh, we'd like to, but we don't know when. Okay, let's keep going.
One of those smaller ones at that time, they were giving you the options. Like, this was like not the first step, the next step. And you have like eventually like a friend's house would have like, he has about 1,800 square feet. I was like, oh, that's kind of like where I started like at the space. Like having enough bedrooms and things like that.
So for you, is it more just square footage or bedrooms or yard or?
See, then you can continue. It's like, Kurt, no, don't continue.
Well, I wasn't sure what he was looking for, so that's why I was trying to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's looking for.
the motivation on why he would be moving.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It does not matter why they're moving. What matters is he said he wants to buy a house. That's what matters. So help him decide that right now is the best time to buy a house. Don't dive into anything until you feel like they're eating out of your hand, saying, yes, right now is the day I want to buy a house. So what's my next step? Cool. Well, tell me what you're looking for. And let's get you into houses today. That is your very last step you're going to take with any client. Don't get into the rigmarole. And here's why, Kurt. This person is not still set on today's the best time to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally killing your time and running out of time, because time's of the essence. When you're on that door, there's a million things they would rather be doing than talking to a door salesman. Now we've killed 2 minutes, and we're going to kill another minute here by learning about what they want, even though they don't feel like they can have it, or that now's not the right time. What was you going to say, Kurt?
Well, let me ask you this, because it sounds like what you're saying, if someone says, we've thought about it, that's the green light, they've thought about it, they want to, doesn't matter why. But then how do you take into account whether they're upsizing? Because that's going to kind of determine which way you go, right?
What are you knocking in right now? Where does this guy live?
This guy's a single family house, a smaller one.
Okay. Can he really downsize in a single family?
Not really.
Okay. So that being said, are you expecting him to upsize?
I'm assuming it, but I also don't want to make assumptions.
Okay.
Maybe it's a safe one.
Assume it. You should always be knocking in areas where they're going to upgrade. This approach is an upgrade approach, and it doesn't make sense for them if they're going to downgrade. Okay. So that being said, plan on everybody you knock on their door upgrading, and then walk them through the process. When you're going through the process talking about markets, are you ever going to bring up price point?
Well, yeah.
Why? Because you're going to talk about equity, right?
Yeah, and then just the different number of buyers at different price points, especially at different rates.
Are you going to know what if he's upgrading or downgrading at that point?
Well, he should probably let me know if I get to that
Well,
point.
you're going to ask questions, because you're not going to be able to give him appreciation values off a $300,000 or $500,000 home until you know what he's going to buy.
Right.
Correct? So you're going to ask what price point of home you're looking at in that next house.
So don't ask it until you hit market. Is that where you're...
But notice the difference. I'm asking a price point. I'm not
Right.
saying, so what are you looking for? How many
Right.
bedrooms, how many baths, how many this? Because none of that matters. And the only reason I'm asking price point is because I want to teach him on a $500,000 home with a 10% appreciation rate, that's 50 grand. On a $300,000 home with a 10% appreciation rate, that's 30 grand. You just lost $20,000 waiting every year. And if you wait 5 years, that's $100,000. Are you going to be able to make up $100,000 to be able to bring to the table? That's what I want to help people understand. And that's just one small piece of the puzzle that we're bringing to them to help them understand that. So yes, don't ever go where you're going right now. Let's keep going.
Kind of just as everything in general. Like I couldn't afford some multi-million house, but like something around the 2,000 square feet, I think would be perfect. Because then I could have like an office, or we'd have enough rooms for. I mean, just have more options, I guess. Is what we'd have like in the house, like in a bigger laundry, bigger laundry area, kind of a bigger kitchen. Maybe 2 full baths or something, or an office, things like that.
So then space to stretch your legs.
Yeah, just something a little more that. So
A lot of
So
fluff.
if you were like that, would you be taking out a loan on the next place? Or
See, now you're even going into lending, right?
Well, I feel like...
Why do we care?
Really?
Why do you care?
Because I feel like it was... Because he said he was going to hold on to it. And so then, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It's not a talking point. Remember, when you open your breath, and open your mouth and breath comes out, it's got to be for a purpose. And your purpose is closing. So don't ask a question unless it's a closing question. Okay? Let's keep going. Right now, we're 2.5 minutes in, Kurt. You have not drove any nails in the coffin. You have not asked any closing questions that's causing him to think, I need to buy today. That's the first questions you should be asking.
I guess, because I always try to gather all the information up front, but now it sounds like a lot of it's just unnecessary.
Yeah. And why? It's not that it's unnecessary, Kurt, but you gathering all the information, you're going to take 4 or 5 minutes to gather.
Right.
How many people are telling you no and getting you off the doorstep before you get there?
A lot.
A ton. All of them. And the reason being is they've found zero value in what you're bringing. You're gathering information that they don't want to give you because they don't know you and they've got other things they'd rather be doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you have to be quick and to the point. With all of your questions, they have to be short, pointed questions that's going to get you to tell them, or them to tell you, yes, I want to transact today. Let's go a little bit longer.
just assuming you're moving on.
Yeah, I have a friend who talked about stuff like that before, and he was suggesting like HELOCs and stuff like that.
I'm going to fast forward. Now we're 3.5 minutes in, Kurt. We still have not had a closing question. I mean, he's asking you, you're having to say, I'm not the lender. So look how bad he's got you confused.
Yeah.
Big time. Big time. Let's keep going.
I'm sure you've seen about interest rates.
I heard last time I heard it was like 7 or something. I don't know if it's changed, but
Yeah.
So did you ever ask a question before here? Because fast forward. When do you plan on making this happen? What's your timeline?
I tried to ask him, but he just kept hitting me with, oh, we've thought about it a little bit, but it's nothing serious.
Okay. So if you could do it sooner and I could save you a bunch of money, would you consider it?
I asked him that. He said, well, yeah, we would consider it, but it was still this very idea over there. I'm over here, and I couldn't really close the gap.
So he said I can consider it. What does that mean, Kurt? In my mind, that's a yes.
Right.
Now, I will do that, right?
Correct.
So now let me show you why you need to do it today.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think our market's going to do? Go up or down? Why? Did you ask that question?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay, let's keep going. I want to listen a little bit more. We're going to wrap this up in 2 minutes.
They kind of hover between 6 and 7. But have you heard what the Fed has said they're doing?
No.
So the Fed has said they're planning on 3 cuts later in the year.
oh really?
So let's say that they do that. What do you think? How do you think that would affect the number of people buying?
Oh yeah, people will buy it.
Yeah,
Obviously, I
right.
have more people in the market. Yeah.
Yeah, and if a lot of people jump in, get back into those
Yeah,
big
because I mean,
doors.
it's just been that way anyways around here anyways. It's like as soon as something shows up, it's like someone's there. Usually mostly. I'm not sure right this current one.
Yeah.
Up until these last few years, it was just like we see something and it's all of a sudden like the sign's gone, someone's moving in. It's like, well, then it's like it's there for like a few weeks or so, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Do you remember during COVID when someone would list their house and then, like you said, a few hours later,
Oh, no,
50
yeah,
grand over
yeah,
cash?
top of that too, yeah, there'd be like bidding wars. They wouldn't even tell you the price. It's just when people sometimes just, just throw whatever money at it.
Pause. He's sitting here telling you all about the bidding wars and how it's crazy. Kurt, ask him a question. That's going to be a closing question. What is it?
Would it be better to buy now before all that competition comes back and you're competing in that bidding?
That's a long question.
That was a long question.
Remember, short, pointed questions. Can you afford a bidding war? Can you afford to compete? Do you want to compete? See how short those questions are? What do you have to do not to compete? Buy now. That's what I want you to tell me, Kurt, is buy now. So I'm going to ask you those questions to get you to tell me you need to buy now. Let's keep going.
It's kind of just frustrating. It's like, oh man, I can't even. Because there were some of those steel deals here and there, but just like I said, you had to be there like instantly or
quick. And there's a little bit of that going on if it's priced really competitively, but by and large, it's kind of the opposite of that. Right now, we're seeing, our average is about 68 days on market last I checked, so it's kind of lengthened out a little bit. But like you were saying, if those rates go down, people jump in, start buying. What do you think that would do to the prices?
He already told you. We've already talked about this, right? The prices will go up. More buyers will come in. That conversation was already had. Let's keep going.
Obviously, I guess just from the history of kind of seeing that, but I mean, they would still make them, I don't know if it's a tactic they do or whatever, but kind of a good price. Whatever. It was always kind of, and obviously, and I guess just like it always, if it gets too hot, then the prices go up and slows it down. So it's like, because everybody's like, oh, now I can sell for this much, but then the higher they go, I don't know, it slows down, I guess, because not as many people can afford it. Eventually, not the majority of people can't afford it eventually. It's just
So if those rates were to come down and those people jump in, for example, last year we sold 3.9 million homes in the country. We haven't sold that few since 1963, so about 60 years. Why do you think that would be?
I don't know, maybe economy, I don't know, elections, people get scared, I don't know why people bought their homes and they're just looking for them, I don't know.
Do you think that higher interest rate has something to do with it?
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah, no, definitely, yeah, because like it's just crazy if those 7% whatever, like.
Yeah, so that kind of tells us that a lot of people are just waiting for that to drop and then they're going to jump in, and then like you were saying, when they do that, those...
Okay, so if this was the lowest amount of sales since 1963, do you think there's people waiting to buy? Why do you think that? Kurt, do you see how I'm changing this to them telling me rather than you telling?
Yeah, I think I need to break each of my questions into 5 smaller questions to not only shorten them, but also bridge the gap.
Yes, they've got to tell you, right? So,
yeah.
If you broke it down into, do you think there's people waiting? Of course there is. How many babies were born last year? How many job changes? All of these are people that these are real estate transacting events. So that being said, what's going to happen when rates drop? And we've already gone over this. I mean, we've killed this bird like 7 times in this conversation. We need to get on to the next part, which is going to be, how much is it going to cost me if I wait? Okay, we've decided this is a buyer's market. You told me 68 days in the market. So in a buyer's market, can we get closing costs paid for? Can we get a price reduction? How much do each of those equate to? If you're buying a $300,000 house, can we buy it for $280,000? There's 20 grand. If you're getting closing costs at 2%, that's $6,000 on a $300,000 home. So now we're 26 grand. If you get repairs, let's say 5 grand in repairs, now we're $31,000. Okay. Now, if we wait until the market's going crazy, you're going to end up paying over list price. By how much? Say 20 grand. Okay. Then are you getting closing costs? No. So you're losing that 6 grand. Are you getting repairs? No, you're losing that 5 grand. So instead of saving $26,000, it's costing you $26,000 more. What does that end up being? If you add the two together, you're $52,000. Can you afford, Kurt, to pay $52,000 more on a $300,000 home? Get where I'm coming from?
Oh, absolutely.
This is where we need to take those questions, cut out all of the other stuff. Make it simple, make it brief, make it pointed, walk them through. Do not spend so much time trying to convince them that you're not the lender, that you're not, looking for this house that they are never going to buy. So what happened at the end of this conversation? Did you end up showing him homes?
What ended up happening is he's like, well, we're just thinking about it. I'd have to talk to the fam. And I was like, all right, give me your contact info. And I left to the next place.
And you can see why now, right?
Yeah.
You did not get him to a point where he could understand why he needs to transact today.
Well, and I think one thing that threw me off is I never established a hard timeline with him. Because with him, it was just, we're thinking about it. And so then I was just like, well, here we go. Let's just shoot in the dark and we can save you money before those rates come down. But I didn't have that alternative to compare and contrast.
You know what, though? And the reason I've closed tons of people that didn't have a timeline. Tons of them. I've closed tons of them that never said, I want to move in 2 years, 5 years, 3 years. But they understood what I was saying and why it's more beneficial to move now if we're going to move. That's the important thing you need to bring across, is they need to do it today rather than wait.
Mm-hmm.
Best time to plant a tree was yesterday, and if you didn't do it yesterday, Kurt, you better do it today.
Yep.
Okay? So, and that's always been the case in real estate. You go back 50 years from now, go back 100 years from now. Would it have been better to buy then? 1,000,000%. Is it going to be better to buy today than it is going to be to buy in 5 years? Yes, even in a year. So you've got to help them realize they need to buy a home today. And if they don't, they're missing a huge opportunity. It's going to cost them a lot of money. Okay. Well, thanks for bringing this recording. It was awesome to role play with you. Hopefully you guys online have picked out some of the things I'm helping Kurt with. Kurt's a beast. He's going to get out there and change some of these things, get back on the doors and get out and kill it. Thanks for watching today, you guys.